We have P. Fanishekhar and Mayuresh Joshi joining us for closing chat. Sudarshan Sukhani is still with us, and Tarun Sisodia also joins in from Anand Rathi for a wrap of the conference and some stock ideas. Good afternoon, gentlemen. A word on Amtek Auto first. Really, that's been the story of the day.
I don't track this stock, Anuj.
Okay, let me try my luck with Mayuresh then. Mayuresh?
Anuj, clearly I think the kind of leverage positions that the Amtek Group has on its books, and Sonia nailed the point perfectly well. The interest payments itself are not sufficing the kind of cash flows that the company ought to make. The profitability takes a big hit. The erosion is quite evident in the numbers. So clearly I think staying away from this entire pack. But within the auto ang space, I think MM Forgings is something that we like. They're increasing their capacity to 65,000 MT. Exports is a big component of their top line, nearly contributes 72%. The American MHCV market is showing healthy signs of recovery. And again, I think valuation is not looking expensive. So we are assuming a 15.5% top line growth over the next couple of years, margins to sustain at the current levels. And clearly, I think the bottom line should grow at a decent pace as well. So MM Forgings is something that I like at this juncture from the auto ang space.
But Mayuresh, I understand the leverage situation that Amtek Auto is going through, but they have been doing this because of the several acquisitions that they've made in the last couple of years. And at that point when they were making the acquisitions, a lot of people chose to ignore the high debt that they were, undertaking, just saying that these acquisitions will yield results in the years to come. We've seen that happen with many other companies, the likes of Motherson Sumi, etc. So at what point do you start worrying about the debt situation on the books of these companies?
So clearly, Sonia, I think the acquisitions have to be on the right track, and it should be value accretive in terms of EPS earnings going up. So I think clearly we did not understand from the beginning the kind of acquisitions that the Amtek Group was making and what kind of value addition it will have in terms of earnings going forward. And that's why I think we desisted from probably looking at these stocks even at the higher levels, and even though the market was favoring these stocks at that point of time. I think our lack of understanding on why these acquisitions were made and whether they really add to the earnings are now justifying our point. So clearly, I think we have a very, very stock-specific approach when it comes to the auto ancillary space.
Okay, Tarun, good afternoon. Good to have you on the show after a long time. The feedback from your conference, and have you, managed to identify a couple of more emerging stars?
Good afternoon. Good to be back. I will not go stock-specific, but given the kind of roundup which was just recently covered up in your show, I would say we have a very similar kind of interest happening in our conference. The largest interest is being gathered by the auto ancillary sector, which is what attracted the maximum number of meetings, followed up by logistics, and then the consumers, pharma and financials. And that is the order of preference we are seeing uniquely across the market as well in terms of stocks selection that people are doing. The kind of meetings that is happening is clearly indicating that the mid-cap growth story is not to be written off, and going forward we expect fairly decent amount of earnings upgrade happening in most of these stock sectors that we talked about in the mid-caps.
Okay, so within the auto ancillary space that you guys are bullish on, Tarun, what are the spaces to be in? Because, on one hand you have tire companies where the stocks just keep defying gravity despite no growth in the top line, and on the other hand you have some of these, global linked companies like Amtek Auto that are suffering because of huge debt.
Okay, so we are not very, we don't take too much of top-down call. We are more of a bottoms-up stock picking. So I can comment on tires because we just recently released a report on the tire sector, and the key threat that had been in the minds of investors was primarily coming from the Chinese competition, and with the recent development of currency that seems to have heightened out. But it is our belief that sooner or later there would be some kind of government protection coming in, and I guess that is the belief which is percolating down to the investors, and that's the reason why they're not so concerned on the tire sector. And if you really look at the kind of volume numbers that is coming up from the new vehicle sales, especially in the CV sector, I think so going down the line the replacement demand as well as the OEM volume should reflect into the tire volumes going down the line. At least in FY16 we are fairly hopeful that we will be somewhere near the double-digit growth rate. for the volumes.
Okay, just about 2 minutes left. Let me just quickly try one question with Sudarshan. Sudarshan, Sun Pharma, what's the call now? Because it's been one of the most volatile stocks, heading back into the zone from where it fell last time. What would you do with a stock like this?
See, the call is to be upbeat on it, which means every dip is a buying opportunity, even intraday dips. One of the reasons we did not suggest shorting Sun Pharma even in the bad times is it's an outstanding stock in terms of current performance. So I would be upbeat. If Pharma and IT are the two safe havens, still they are.
Alright, just about a minute left for markets to close, so we'll get back to our guests in a bit. First, let's just recap the markets. It was an okay day, let's put it that way. The bulls somehow managed to maintain their 1-0 lead on closing and going home at around 8,500 on the index. Let's start with winning stocks. Clearly it was a day in the green. Sun Pharma was probably your stock of the day if you're not including the Amtech group, that is. Sun Pharma up 4.5%, Lupin was up 3% and Cipla was up about 2%. Apart from that, you had stocks like Wipro, HCL Tech. So IT and Pharma both did well. Infosys was up 1%. The market got quite a bit of support actually from two heavyweights. Reliance, that was up 1%, and ICICI as well, which was up 1%. And these actually negated quite a bit of negative impact of some of the PSU banks. SBI in particular, 2.5% lower. Bank of Baroda, 2% lower. Coal India, I mean, it's become the weakest stock now in the index, down about 2%. Then of course BPCL, it was quite curious. It was in the green for better part of the day, but in last 1 hour there was quite a bit of selling. That stock ended lower, 1%, and HDFC was down about 0.7%. So that's for the large caps. The mid caps underperformed today, and of course the first stock on Sonia's radar would be Amtech Auto.
Of course, I mean that stock just bled to death today. It was down 37%, big volumes gone, and remember, for the year the stock has lost 60% of its market cap already, and a big chunk of it coming in the last 10-15 trading sessions alone. But apart from that, the entire group has been under pressure. So whether it's JMT Auto, whether it's Castex Technology, whether it's Metallist Forgings, all those stocks have been down quite a bit. Metallist Forging should also come up for you on the screen. You did see selling pressure in other auto names as well today. So Apollo Tyres is down about 3%, Ashok Leyland is down about 2% JK Tyres is down almost about 2% or so. That's been one spot of profit taking that we've seen. Real estate stocks didn't have any great luck either. Indiabulls Real Estate down 5.5%, HDIL down 2%. DLF down about 1.5%. But the index overall, the mid-cap index was in the green. So let me tell you about the gainers. It was all about the pharmaceutical stocks on the upside. So look at something like a Nectar Life Sciences. That one is up 16% today and has gained about 35% for the year already. Nectar Life Sciences is the one. Sharon Biomedicine is up almost about 16% or so as well. Spark is up about 8.5% and has more than doubled this year already. Spark is the one I'm talking about. Yes, there, as you can see on the screen, big moves coming in there. And then you had names like Glenmark Pharma, Aurobindo Pharma, Dishman, Divi's Labs, all of them hitting fresh 52-week highs, or some even lifetime highs rather, in trade. So a lot of big moves seen in the pharmaceutical space. Mercator Lines as well saw a big move today, up about 14%. And then you had JP Infra that had a spillover effect of the announcement from yesterday. So JP Infra up about 6%. But we wind up the day a tad bit in the green. So it's good to see that the Nifty is still hovering around the 8,500 mark. The Sensex has gained about 100 odd points today. And today's gain was solely led by the pharmaceutical and the IT stocks. So those were two pockets that did very well. But let's get the management of Amtech Auto. Arvind Dham joins in to talk about the big collapse that we've seen in the stock. Mr. Dham, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. You know, it's come as a big shock to shareholders the way your stock has collapsed, and the entire group has actually seen a lot of its market cap getting eroded in the last 10-15 days. Is there something that the street needs to be worried about? Mr. Dham, is my voice reaching you? Okay, I can't hear him, so let's try and just touch base with the management in just a bit. Just again, that's the managing director of Amtech Auto, Mr. Arvind Dham. In case you've joined in late, this stock has been under intense pressure. Of course, now it goes into the F&O ban, but ever since the company reported a quarterly loss for the first time ever, that stock has been just moving in one direction, and that is downwards. But not just Amtek Auto, we have a couple of other stocks as well from that entire group that have been under pressure. Metallist Forgings, which was earlier Ahmednagar Forgings, that stock too has collapsed about 10% today and has lost about 30% of its value ever since it came out with a very weak set of numbers. And the big issue for this group has been the high amount of debt that the company has undertaken because of the various acquisitions and the interest cost that has been eroding its profitability quarter after quarter. But apart from that, let's just take some final comments from our guests and let them go. Funny, it's been all about the pharmaceutical names today. So what would be your top picks in that space?
Well, there are very few choices among the large caps. Both Sun as well as DRL look okay, but I think the real action is in the mid cap space, and our top pick continues to be Aurobindo Pharma there.
Okay, Aurobindo Pharma is the top pick for Mayuresh, for Pani rather. Tarun, you spoke about auto ancillaries. What about mid-cap pharma? That's a space which is clearly holding out. Even mid-cap IT actually, both these sectors. What's your call here?
We are actually bullish on both sides, mid-cap pharma as well as the mid-cap IT sector. We have been pushing Suven to our clients a lot for over the last 6 months to 12 months time frame. And we continue to remain bullish on some of the stocks that we actually cover. In the conference, we have had a number of companies which we don't cover as of now, but we soon will be covering. As of now, amongst the stocks that we cover, Suven Pharma would be our top pick.
Okay, so that's from the pharma space. What about the IT space, Tarun? There as well, we've seen big gains in some of the large caps like Infosys. Would you continue to back large caps, or is there now further traction in mid caps as well?
Okay, large caps as a house we don't cover. Our philosophy is just to stay focused on the mid caps, so I would not be able to make a comment on that from official perspective. Recommendation that we don't have any recommendations on large caps. In the mid cap space, a couple of companies, I think someone mentioned just now on Mastech. So Mastech is one of the companies that we cover, and we are fairly bullish when it was pre-split basis. On a post-split basis, Mastech and Majesco which has got listed today itself. We continue to be bullish on prospects of Majesco and the kind of valuation which can get unlocked once the US investors start looking at the product company more carefully. So that is another stock one should really watch out for.
Okay, Mayuresh, any nuggets from the mid-cap space? Anything that you like?
One stock that we are liking, Anuj, on declines would be Garhwale Wallropes. Now clearly I think the company has posted decent set of numbers for the quarter gone by, and our take is that top line growth should grow in excess of 12 to 13% over the next couple of years. The key raw material, polyethylene, has seen quite a sharp decline, and again I think with crude going down, I think the EBITDA margin expansion should be quite evident. It exports currently to 72 odd countries. The export percentage is 50%, expected to grow to around 65%, and clearly the kind of debt levels that the company was sitting on at 145 odd crores, it has come down to 40-45 odd crores. Interest payments have come down from 17 to 10 crores, and I think the ROE has expanded from 9.6 to 13.8%. So any decline onto the stock becomes a good buying opportunity for medium to long term investors.
Okay, Sudarshan, any large cap stock that you would recommend either buying or shorting first thing in morning tomorrow?
So we keep on talking about stocks, but you were talking of pharma. So Lupin in the large cap group is now coming out of a very sharp correction, and it probably has a lot of headroom before it reaches previous highs. That looks technically interesting, and the other mid cap is Shasun Pharma, which also is making a fairly bullish pattern and is on the verge of a breakout. So there are two stocks for buying. They are not intraday trades, but they are worth buying into for a position trade.
All right, gentlemen, we'll have to leave it at that. We've run out of time in this segment, but thanks so much for taking the time out and speaking with us. Well, that's the word coming in on the market. The Sensex and the Nifty go home with minor gains of about 0.3%. The mid-cap index as well is in the green, but the Bank Nifty has been under pressure today, down about 0.4%. Some news coming in on Corporation Bank cutting the